Hi, my name is Kai, and this is my 15-112 term project. So I chose to create a hockey simulation engine which accurately determines the results of any NHL hockey game. Now in my program, there's three main modes: NHL Today, Fantasy, and Simulate, which I'll be going over in this video, and then the help screen just explains these modes, but I can do that myself. Now let's jump into Simulate. So in Simulate, the user has the option to select any two NHL teams that he wants. So I'm going to pick the Vancouver Canucks because they're my hometown team, and the Pittsburgh Penguins because I'm in Pittsburgh right now. Alright, so I'm going to explain the simulation aspect of this program now. So how the simulation works is it web scrapes the team statistics of the two teams that have been chosen, so in this case the Canucks and the Penguins, and then it determines using a weighted probability how many goals each team is going to score. And then it web scrapes the player stats for every player on that team and determines which players got the goals and the assists for every goal that's been scored. So now let's jump into the visualization. So the important part to note about this visualization is that it's just a visual aid and a visual aid only. It's there so that the user isn't staring at a blank screen. So I can speed up the simulation, which just speeds up the clock. And okay, so when a goal is scored, play stops and the goal information is displayed as the time scored, the period, and the goal scores. And okay, Vancouver scored again and again. So now it's the intermission, and that just means the period's over. Okay, Pittsburgh's coming back. Nick Bonino scored. One thing I wanted to stress about my simulation is that it's not random. It does take into account players' skill and team skill, and that's why it's pretty accurate. Moving in, Pittsburgh just tied it up, and Pittsburgh's gone ahead. And again, so as we can see, Pittsburgh's won 4-3, and which is something that's pretty accurate in my mind because the Penguins are a much better team than the Vancouver Canucks. So that's the simulation aspect. Now I'm going to go into the fantasy mode. So in Fantasy, the user has the option to create a dream team with any NHL players that he wants. So for example, let's say I want someone from the Penguins. It does take a while to load because it has to web scrape all the players' stats. But let's put Evgeny Malkin. Now say I want to play another player on the Penguins. This time it'll go really fast because it remembers all the player stats from before. So now I'm actually going to skip ahead because this does take a while to fill out a team. But we'll be right back. Alright, so I've just finished picking my dream team, and as you can see, I picked some very strong players. So I'm going to go into the simulation now. So what I can do now is I can pick any team I want to play against. So let's play against the Kings. Alright. And then again, in this screen, it's loading everything that's necessary, except the one big difference is because there's no actual team stats for my fantasy team, it determines a team stat kind of by considering all players on the team. So yeah, also the fantasy team is called Team 42. Anyway, this stuff is much the same as before. I'm just going to speed it up. Yeah, so LA scored again. Intermission, and LA won. Okay. So that's the fantasy mode. Now the last mode we have is NHL Today, which is actually my favorite part of my program. So what NHL Today does is it web scrapes all the games that are going on in the NHL on that day, and then from there we can say, okay, say I want to know about St. Louis against New York Islanders. I can get a link to an article about that game. It's just a preview article that redirects to TSN. Taking a while to load. Or I can simulate the result of that game. So if I want to see how well a team's doing on a specific day, I can go here. So again, we got St. Louis and the Islanders. I can simulate this. St. Louis scored. I would think St. Louis would win this game because they are the better team, and my simulation does agree with that. They just won 3-0. So, and with that, that is my term project. Thanks so much for watching.